Cool. I'm ready to rock.
All right, awesome. All right.
Let's do it. How do we start?
Huh? I just go 3, 2, 1.
Hit it! That's what I'm talking about. Wait!
Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boy.
Hey, everyone. This was a really fun episode to do. I got to hang out with my buddy Antoine Troupe at his brand new dance studio called KreativMndz Academy. We had the whole studio to ourselves, with James Brown, Prince, and Michael and Janet Jackson on a big mural behind us. Antoine and I discussed everything from entrepreneurship to dance, storytelling, psychology, confidence, self-development, branding, and so much more. Most importantly, Antoine shared his passion for learning. Antoine is a professional dancer, choreographer, dance instructor, entrepreneur, and creative visionary. In 2008, along with choreographing for his own company, Antoine joined the dance crew Supreme Soul. That year, Supreme Soul became contestants on MTV's America's Best Dance Crew. He has toured twice with Mindless Behavior. He choreographed Prince's music video, Breakfast Can't Wait, as well as his appearance on Arsenio Hall. Antoine also choreographed Chris Brown's performance on Jimmy Fallon, as well as CeeLo Green's UK tour. He's worked with brands such as Starbucks and Kit Kat, and been featured on LinkedIn's ad campaigns. Antoine wants nothing more than to inspire and show others what is possible if you work hard, trust in yourself, respect yourself, and believe in yourself. Hey, Antoine.
What up? What up?
Hey, great to see you.
It's
been a while.
Too, it's really good to see you.
It's kind of funny. We were planning this while you were where? In Moscow? In Russia? Where were you?
Where was Ukraine?
Ukraine. Close. That was close.
Right. It's basically the same thing. No, it's not. People will be mad at me for saying that. Let me not say that, but yeah.
So we were just talking about traveling. So I do want to pick your brains about where to go. But
yes. Oh, I got you.
Yes. But first of all, I just want to say how excited I am for you that we're sitting in your studio. So, for the people listening to this podcast, I want them to, go on YouTube and check out this space that you have.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yes. KreativMndz Academy. Make sure you check it out as soon as you get a chance.
Yeah, we're filming right here in the Dance Academy. Yes. Have the whole studio to ourselves.
Yes, pretty awesome, right?
Special hookup from the founder right here.
Yeah, man, it's really cool. It's a blessing to be able to come in here. Even like it was as simple as like me just like moving some packages we got around, and I'm like, I'm just here by myself in my own space, working, getting things done, setting up. Like I don't know, it's like the little things that I think are really amazing. So I'm happy and grateful.
Does it ever feel a little bit surreal to be?
It definitely feels surreal, and it's funny you said that because as soon as I started thinking that thought, like it was almost like I don't know. I feel so distant from it. At the same time, I am grateful and I am happy, but at the same time, I feel like it's almost like I'm like watching somebody else's story happen before me. You know what I mean?
Why would you feel that? I understand what you're saying, but why would you feel that?
I think because I never planned this when I was younger. It wasn't like some big dream or goal of mine to have a studio. When I first started dancing, I wasn't thinking about having a studio at all. So there's that part of it. And then just the fact of like how big it is, how beautiful it is to see people in here, different energy and vibes coming in here and creatives coming in here and creating and enjoying the space and being able to have a place where we're changing lives in here. We're helping people develop themselves and see their dreams come true. So I think just all of it it's really a lot. And I'm working with a lot of people that I looked up to for a really long time. Now I'm friends with those people, and now those people are coming and teaching at a studio that I created. I'm a co-founder of the studio. So we created something to facilitate, dreams coming true. And
right. Paris Global just came through this
Paris
week, right?
Just here, yeah.
Yeah, I actually interviewed her for my fashion entertainment magazine.
No way, really?
Well, one of my editors did, so I didn't have personal contact, but one of our editors was really into dance. And move that microphone this way. Yeah. So, you're making this space very valuable for all the people who need it.
Yes, and that's a great word, valuable. And that's exactly what we want to do, is we want to make sure this is creating as much value for people as possible. So we're constantly coming up with different ideas to have impact and help people exceed at whatever it is they want to do. And not only just exceed, but just come into the space and feel like they can be their most creative self possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it was, what was it, 2 years ago when you and I worked together briefly,
Yes.
and you were just kind of sprouting this idea and you were talking about it. And you
Right.
were pretty excited, but
Yes.
just to see it happen and actually be sitting in here
Yeah.
well, it's kind of a short time to have that happen, and especially because you're still dancing, you're
Yes.
still producing,
I'm still doing
and
still doing
traveling.
everything. Like
Yeah.
everything that I've been doing, I still travel and teach. I still choreograph. I still like work in the industry as a choreographer, as well as teach here, book out choreographers, like kind of like help set up all the programming and whatnot with the studio, and I'm also the marketing director here, so being in control of all that kind of stuff as well, you know. So it's a lot. It's a lot I'm juggling all the time, and I honestly don't even know how I do it. Like literally yesterday, I was on set for like over 12 hours. From like 3 p.m. yesterday to about, or no, actually 2 p.m. yesterday till about like 3 or 4 a.m. this
Yikes.
morning. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
wake up and then get ready and then come here and sit down with you. So I don't even know.
Yeah.
I don't even know how I'm surviving right now.
Maybe it's because you don't even care about time zones anymore because you travel so much that
I
you're just
don't. I
like-
don't even know what that is. I don't even know what that is. Yeah, and literally, actually, before the video shoot, the day before, I had got back for, was it the day before? I don't even know. But yeah, I was in Ukraine shooting a Kit Kat commercial for 3 days. And then I came back from Ukraine, and as soon as I got back, I went straight to teaching. I taught a class. Then I took class. I took Paris Goebel's class.
Yeah.
Then the next day I had a full day, and then the next day after that I did the music video, and then and then woke up and came here. So it's just everything's like back to back to back, and it's so many different things that require so many different skills. You know?
Right. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to have you on, as
Yes.
we were talking about before
Thank you.
this interview started, because most people just going on set for 10 hours, 12 hours, and I've been on those sets, and they are exhausting.
Exhausting,
and
yes.
also you don't have your laptop, or you don't have
Yes.
a good space where you're basically running a business, multiple
Yes,
businesses.
exactly.
And you're doing all that from your phone. So
Yes.
that is very difficult.
Very, very difficult, especially when you're in another country and you don't have Wi-Fi, or the Wi-Fi sucks, which
Right.
it always does. And you're trying to just make things happen with as much time as you can possibly get with the resources that you have. And you're in a different time zone. So sometimes I'm up at like 3 a.m. in the morning in another country trying to work on things here because it's like the studio's about to open and classes are
Yeah.
about to start or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you're starting out as an entrepreneur, the hard thing is doing everything yourself. But if you don't do everything yourself, you're kind of hostage to depending on other people.
Yes.
And in a crunch, you don't want that to happen. You
Right.
want to be able to handle everything, or be able to make the judgments,
Right.
whether people working for you are doing the right thing or not.
Right. Yeah. And I'm definitely like, we have a team as far as the academy goes, and also our event, Ignite Dance Tour. It can only happen with a team. There's no way I'd be able to do it by myself at all. As much as I do and as many things as I am in control of, I still have to rely on the team to do the things that I can't do, the things that I'm not good at everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely not, like, we have like our business manager Eileen for the academy. She's kind of like the more organized one, and she does things that handles everything, like all the technicalities on the back end
Yeah.
and whatnot. And me and Kalani Marks, we're kind of like the ideas people. We have the vision, and then we have our team that helps us like make the vision actually come to life.
Yeah, you're steering the overall direction, but you need people to handle
Yes.
the details.
Yes, exactly. And as far as marketing, I'm not doing all the designs and stuff. We have a graphic designer, we have a videographer, everything like that. And I have a vision of, okay, this is what I want it to look like. This is what I want it to feel like. This is what I want people to say about it. This is how I want people to feel about it. But as far as like actually putting that together, they take that and then they actually make that real, you know? So
Yeah, that's amazing that you're doing that already so early into your entrepreneurial career because a CEO of a Fortune 500 company once told me like the one thing that you have to get right, the first thing you have to get right is being able to delegate
Yes.
because you don't have unlimited time and you don't
Yes.
have unlimited skill. So
absolutely.
it's amazing that you figured that out so early on.
Yes, and I'm still working on it. I'm still working on, you know, being able to communicate my ideas better or communicate. Yeah, it's really just communicating my ideas better so that people understand and they can see what I see
Yeah.
in my head and understand it clearly. You know, sometimes it's hit or miss. Sometimes it's spot on. It's like, okay, boom, that's what I wanted. And then other times it's like, okay, they're not understanding where I'm coming from. So how can I reword this? So that's where I think reading definitely comes in. I study a lot. I read a lot of different books. I read a lot, especially lately. It's been a lot of like marketing, branding kind of stuff. But also before that, it was a lot of leadership kind of stuff, or like how to win friends and influence people, stuff like that. Because I really want to be able to communicate strongly, and really all of this. I've found what I've realized between leadership and between marketing and everything like that.
We can pause for a
yeah.
while.
Let's pause 1 second.
All right.
We're back.
Where do we leave off?
We were talking about. Oh, I was saying from like my studying, both like coaching and mentoring and leadership,
right,
and like marketing and branding. I think at the end of the day, all of it is really just about communication. It's really about communicating and storytelling. All of it. That's the thread I found weaves everything kind of together. And for whatever reason, humans, we just love stories. I don't know why, but we love to follow a story, and we love stories that are engaging and make us think and make us feel and things like that. So
I mean, that's why so much of history and culture and stuff are passed down through storytelling. It's just a way for us to, I guess, experience more than just the words. If it's just like a technical description of like a recipe or something, you're gonna miss out on the feelings of the experience and the journey of it all. It's it's just too dry.
Right. I guess that's how that's kind of how our brain experiences the world through stories. It experiences the world apart from the physical world that we're a part of. That's tangible and in front of us. I think that's for whatever reason our brain likes to explore, and I think that's what makes artists. For whatever reason, we fall in love with our brain just exploring different concepts and stories and everything like that.
So back to that, what's your main motivation for starting this dance academy? Because it's not easy. So you don't have to do it, and your career is going great. So you don't have to do this. But
right. You're
sitting here on like 3 hours of sleep or something.
Yeah.
And you're working hard, and it's not really for you; it's for other people. So So what's your vision for this?
Yeah, I mean, you said it. It's for other people. I think at the end of the day, I just want to be the mentor that my childhood self never really had. You know what I mean? So I feel like I see my younger self a little bit in everyone that I mentor or that I work with, and I want them to be as successful as possible. Do you know what I mean? So, and where that really comes from, I'm actually not sure. I just feel like this is my purpose, and when I look at my life and I start adding things up, this is just what makes sense. It just feels like this is what I should be doing with everything that I've learned, everything that I've experienced, and everything that I'm passionate about. I feel like it all adds up to who I am and the things that I'm doing now. This thing is going crazy. So yeah, I just really want to be impactful. And I feel like if you want to live eternally, this physical body, it won't last forever.
Yeah.
but your impact will, your legacy can live on forever. I mean, look, we have Michael Jackson on our wall right now, with James Brown, Prince. Like, these are all people who have passed, but they left an impact, and that's why people still idolize them, and people still are inspired by them, even though they aren't even here anymore, you know?
Before we started, you asked me why I want to do this podcast, and one of the reasons is just what you said, is the legacy.
Yes.
It's more of recording, and because we have such great mediums for recording things now, it's just
Absolutely.
documenting all the things that you're doing and other
Yes.
people I'm meeting that's going on. And I mean, it won't be perfect all the time, but there's so much knowledge, like just hanging out.
Yes.
A lot of things that we talked about before, it's so valuable.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, without being in a place like LA or knowing the right person and having the right network, they're never going to have that kind of discussion that's going to bring them to the next level.
Absolutely.
And so
there's a way for you to like extend beyond yourself, or extend beyond the area that you reside in.
right. And I kind of feel like this is what you're doing with the studio, making it nice and making it welcoming, and holding events and classes.
Yes.
And other interviews that you're doing.
Yes, yeah, and really, it all comes from I feel like a lot of the dance community is kind of in a bubble, and we kind of all watch each other, and kind of everybody's trying to do the same things.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? And I feel like most of my inspiration and most of my ideas that I come up with, as far as what I do with the academy, it comes from other businesses that have nothing to do with dance. You know, other entrepreneurs that I've learned from, other companies and startups and media companies and things like that. You know, like I want KreativMndz Dance Academy. I want us to almost be kind of like the complex of dance. You know, complex like the magazine.
Right.
And I feel like if you look at their YouTube channel, they put out a lot of different content. They have a lot of different shows and things like that. So as far as our content, that's the direction I want us to go. And then our visuals, I want it to feel like Adidas visuals. I feel like they kill it with everything that they're doing creatively with all of their content over there. So like there's so many, like I can go on and on and on, but yeah, all my inspiration and my ideas comes from things outside of dance. And I feel like that's what you do with whatever industry you're in. Don't get caught up in a bubble and just everybody's just kind of imitating each other. Expand and research and learn what different people are doing all over the world and in all different types of industries.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up, because a lot of the things that you're trying to figure out, people have already done.
Yes.
And done very, very well.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's okay to borrow from them and learn
Yes.
from them, because otherwise you're never gonna get anywhere with so many different disciplines, like you were just saying.
I mean, everything starts with imitation at first. Even being an artist, even me, when I first started dancing, I was just imitating at first. I was doing exactly what Michael Jackson was doing. I was doing exactly what Omarion was doing, or whatever video I saw, I was copying them. Initially, that's how we all start. And then what makes you an artist is what you do with it from there. It's taking that idea and expanding on it, that concept and expanding on it, that movement, and seeing how you can flip it and do your own thing with it, you know?
Yeah. So I have noticed, coming from somebody that's not in the dance industry, I have noticed that a lot of dancers are they have tunnel vision, and it's just about the dance culture and the community. And so why do you think it's like that? And why do you think you started looking outside?
I think it's simply, we dancers just love, we do love what we do. We love our community. We love, we are inspired by each other. I think that's all fine. I just think it's only a problem when you get caught up in the cycle and everything is recycled, you know? So yeah, I just simply think people don't think to look anywhere else, you know?
Right.
Because they're so focused on the art and being good at the art and
Yeah.
being the best dancer possible. And they feel like in order for me to be the best dancer possible, I need to study other dancers, other great dancers. But I've learned a lot about. I've been able to become a better dancer and a better choreographer by understanding art from all different genres of art, you know,
Yeah.
from photography and painting to music to a little bit of everything,
Right.
you know. And I feel like there's even an art to business, and I feel like I apply all of those things to my art.
Yeah, a lot of things, I guess, have the same fundamental structure, whether if it's business
Absolutely.
or some. So you can learn different things from different industries, just like some people learn better from teachers who do lectures. Some people learn better from teachers who let them just play on their own. It's just different styles. And when you're
Yes.
getting outside of your own industry, sometimes you'll see things in a different way that you can bring
Absolutely.
into it.
Absolutely. And I think it's all about connecting and storytelling. And that's with any artist you talk to, with whatever they're creating, they want it to connect and they want it to tell a story and they want it to be felt.
Mm-hmm.
With any business, with any entrepreneur, with any company you talk to, they want, with any advertisements they're putting out, they want it to connect.
Right,
They want it to
right.
tell a story. They want people to feel something from it.
So if you're a dancer or a choreographer, the better you can understand that part of marketing, which is where a lot of the paid work comes from,
Absolutely, yeah.
the better chance you have of producing something that the client enjoys. And
Absolutely, yeah. The better a storyteller you become, the better choreographer you will be, and the more opportunities you'll be able to create for yourself.
I guess when people focus too much on just the dance and they're not learning some of the other things that you're talking about, what are like the top one or two things that you feel like they should focus on? I mean, I know here you're talking about storytelling, and
Yes.
I know you're setting up your own like a course to help dancers expand beyond themselves. So
Yes.
I don't want to like give that away. If
No, I
that's
mean we
the-
we
you
can
know.
talk about it a little bit. Yeah,
But yeah.
yeah. So sorry, say the question one more time.
Okay, so when dancers are, or any creative is focused so much on
Just
their
the art,
art,
yeah.
and their skills that they don't develop other things, and therefore they're missing out on jobs and expanding their career and all the opportunities and experience that comes from. Like, what do you feel like are some of the top things that they should learn beyond just their dance or their art?
I would say if you're an artist, I would definitely learn branding and marketing. Absolutely. And branding is simply like branding, I would say, is simply figuring out who you are exactly and just kind of like putting a stamp on it and then being able to communicate who you are to the rest of the world in a way that they can understand it and quickly understand it, you know, without having to go through your history and all that kind of stuff. They should be able to look at anything you put out and tell what you're about. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So as far as like how you dress, the colors you use whenever you put out a video or any kind of content, or the way your content is structured, like all the visuals, everything, the way you talk, the way you write your descriptions, the hashtags you have on social media, the way your website looks, all of it should represent you and who you are and the story you want to tell to the rest of the world.
Yeah, and that's different from copying various styles so much that you kind of lose your own identity. Or
Exactly. Because people want something to follow. And also, I think you need to study human behavior and psychology, and that's a big part of marketing and branding.
Right.
That's really all it is it's just like psychology and understanding human behavior and understanding and realizing that people want to be able to follow something, and they want it to make sense in their head. And if you are trying to be so many different things, they don't know what box to put you in. They don't know where to categorize you. And I don't like being put in boxes, but as far as like, they don't really know who you are, so they rather just not even bother with it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's kind of like the tribe idea. I forgot what the book was, but supposedly human beings only can keep track of 100
Yes.
or some people
Yes.
In their minds. And if there are too many for you to choose from, you don't know exactly where this person fits, then you just forget about this person.
Disregard it, exactly.
Yeah, and then you think about somebody who's like the master chef you see on TV, or
Yes.
like your favorite dancer on YouTube. There's probably just one or two. You can't fit more than that, because then
Yes.
you got to have a place for your parents. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
your best friend.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. And even as we're talking, I'm realizing it more and more. It's helping. It's making it easier for people to remember who you are and what you're about.
Yeah.
It's about being memorable, and stories make it easy for people to remember something because it follows a guideline.
Mm-hmm.
This led into this, led into this.
Yeah.
It all adds up. When things are too scattered and random, then it's hard for people to follow along, and it's hard for people to remember. Especially in this day and age, it's the information age, right? So we're constantly bombarded with information and advertisements and content and pictures and videos and blah, 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 blah. So the easier you make it for somebody to remember what you do, who you are, the story you're trying to tell, then the better chances you are of creating opportunities for yourself.
So have you been stressing these things in class and to your students?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's what KreativMndz Dance Academy is about. Mm-hmm. Like, our whole brand is about being beyond dance.
It's an interesting name.
Yeah, KreativMndz. Yeah. Yeah, it's about being
sounds more like an ad agency.
Right. Hey, maybe a little bit. No, but yeah, it's about being, like reaching beyond the steps, beyond just moves, adding on to yourself and being skilled and masterful at many things other than just the art,
Yeah, because the art is great, but as we all know, art itself doesn't pay. And
absolutely,
even the old Renaissance artists, they had to find rich princes and kings to pay for their art and their work. So
yeah, and that's still what we're doing today. You're good. And that's still what we're doing today. Artists are still finding the people with the money to invest in what they do, whether it be a record label, whether it be or that instead of it being one person, it's many people. How can I get many people to invest and pay for my art? And you have to be able to figure out how to sell your art. And that sounds bad, because artists are so anti-sell and like it's not supposed to be about the money and blah, 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 but if you want to do this for a living, if this is what you want to do and this is all you want to do and not have to get a side job, a regular job, then you're going to have to figure out what you need to do to make sure you can profit from your art. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with being able to take care of yourself just based off of the art you create, which it took years for you to master and get and develop the skills to be good at it, Yeah,
I'm glad you're saying that, because I guess a lot of people do feel like that's a taboo subject, or they don't want to just be known as a in it for the money or too commercialized,
exactly,
or selling out or things like that.
Yeah.
But there's also the rubber meets the road practical aspect of
absolutely.
Well, you can't work at Starbucks or McDonald's forever.
No.
And so your dance career, like I'm sure you've seen a lot of people come through LA and they
in and out.
Yeah, in and out.
Or but nothing's happening.
Yeah.
And that's how this initially started in the beginning of KreativMndz Dance Academy. It was called the KreativMndz Elite Program.
Yeah, tell me about that. Like, how did you guys get?
Yeah, so we started. We just wanted to get 20 to 30 dancers together that we really believed in, and give them the information and the tools that they need to be successful beyond just the moves. So at first it was free, and we used to just rent space. And me and Kalani Marks, once a month for 4 days straight, for 4 days straight for like 5-6 hours or something, we would just train like really hard, and we would do talks, and we would have people come in and do talks with them, and we would talk, and we would have them read books on kind of personal development and business and all that kind of stuff to help them further their careers, and also get them thinking ahead. Like, okay, once this is done, what's the plan?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Were they pretty confused? Like, what is this? You know, I thought I was coming for dance.
No, I mean, I think everybody received it really, really well, actually. You know, and I think they were grateful to kind of be educated, and for somebody to take the time and make them aware of what's ahead for them. And I feel like that's when you're our demographic is kind of like 16 to 25. And even more so, it's like maybe like 19 to 22 is most of our clients. And that's kind of the age where you're really trying to figure things out. You're trying to figure out where your life is going to go, you know?
Yeah.
And whether you're in college or you didn't go to college and you're starting to pursue your career, but you still want to be aware of like, okay, what does my future have in store? So you need advice. Like if you watch Gary Vee, if you go on Gary Vee's YouTube channel right now and you go look at his, you know, top or most watched content, like the first like 6 of them are all catered to like college students or people who are in their early 20s. And it's kind of like advice for the next 60 years of your life, or advice for a young man, or advice for people who just got out of college. Because people in that age range, that they're looking for guidance. They just left home. They're just now on their own, you know, and they're kind of worried, okay, what do I do now? I'm out of school. Nobody's telling me what to do. From the morning to the afternoon, you know, I'm kind of on my own trying to figure things out, or I'm in college and I'm kind of figuring out, you know, what career, you know, that's like beginning okay, what career do I want to go into? What do I want to be doing for the rest of my life? So people need a lot of guidance. It's very like precious time in their life.
Well, the things you're talking about, I'm really glad you're doing it, because that's something I feel like high schools should have done, but they don't ever.
Never, yeah.
Colleges don't ever either, and they don't tell you how to balance your checkbook, or how to, you know, watch, which is basically watching your back so you don't get in trouble. So they don't teach you any of the actual life lessons. And people coming in sharing their careers, they don't tell you what the day-to-day life is actually like. Absolutely.
And like investing, like how did you learn investing? Did you learn that in school, or did you do your own research?
My dad forced me to take economic classes, but
really?
I didn't do anything. I did it maybe 5 minutes before class, so I didn't really learn anything. It was after college, when I couldn't go out for work because I was so sick, that I had to figure out something I can do from my laptop at home. And at the time, investing was just something that popped up, and it was something I kind of hated because it's something my dad kind of forced me to do. But it was something I fell into, and I had to learn the hard way. And you know, along the way, I did put together some courses, kind of like to teach people the things that I learned, so that they wouldn't have to go through the same pitfalls and lose money doing it.
Right.
Which is in a similar way what you're doing here.
Yes.
And so it all ties back together, how even finance and dance can have common ground, because just like the way we live life is a story, and those stories have ups and downs. And
yes, and I think that is one thing that I think is very important for dancers, and I wish I would have learned it when I was younger, is like the financial aspect, how to save, how to make money, how to save money, and how to grow money. You know, and
nobody teaches it in the correct way.
Yes. It's you just have to do like your own research. It's a lot of just like reading different books from people who have done it before you, you know, and I feel like artists, we don't like to think about that, because it's kind of like you have like that whole starving artist kind of mentality, or kind of like stereotype that we all kind of feed into, and we just accept and we live up to it, and I feel like that's what everybody expects, and everybody knows, okay, if you're an artist, like that's just the life that you're supposed to live. And I don't think that's true, especially not in 2018.
So I have a weird question. Kind of why do the musicians
Yes.
that you dance for,
Yeah.
they go, they get blinged out, and
Yeah.
They're showing that they're making a lot of money and kind of encouraging that lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So
some of them are making a lot of money, and some of them are just
showing it like
they're
that.
trying to deceive people into thinking that they are making a lot of money. They're trying to just
But why is that okay?
Because
like they're accepted, and it actually sucks people into trying to live that lifestyle, and it actually bankrupts other celebrities and stuff. But it's it's like one side, there are artists that want to stay away from it, but there's one side that are just showing it.
Yeah, it's just like like keeping up with the Joneses,
Yeah.
People are just trying to live up to the hype, They want to look the part. So they feel like, oh, like, okay, I'm a rapper. Like, rappers are supposed to have a bunch of money and have a bunch of cars and have a big house. So even if I just rented this car, and even if I'm just renting this house, I'm going to say it's mine, and I'm going to make it look like it's mine. So people think I'm doing better. And then it also helps with their image. It makes people think they're cool. So, and people buy into cool. I mean, that really is what it is. The more people want to be like you, the more money you can make. As an artist, for sure. So that's what they're trying to do. And it's okay if you know how to build off of it. If you know how to take that and then be able to flip it and then actually make the money you are making it look like you're making, then that's cool. But the problem is, a lot of people are satisfied with, and they settle with, looking the part. So they never actually strive for more, because people are already giving them the recognition. They're giving them the praise as if they live that life, even though they don't live it. So they kind of like settle there. But the problem is, once your career's over, once you're not hot anymore, and people don't really care, and they moved on to the next thing, what are you going to do? What are you going to have to live off of when they don't care about the fake life you're living anymore? At some point, you're going to actually want to live that life. You're going to actually want to be stable and want to be well off, Yeah.
In basketball, I've heard that people trace it back to Michael Jordan and getting a Nike contract and kind of becoming the first marketed superstar, and then everybody else later wanted to do that, but they didn't have his foundation. I mean, he had all the skills, whether he had the endorsements or not.
Absolutely. I mean, he's what made the NBA as profitable as it is now. Honestly, I mean, if you look at the research, if you like really look at the history, he was doing superhuman kind of like athletic stuff. You know what I mean? He was doing things nobody had really seen before. So, and then Nike was smart and said, "Hey, let's contact this guy and let's see how we can collaborate." And then everything went really, really crazy, and people started realizing how much money you could make. And well, I think actually the NBA kind of took off first. That's how it got on TV.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then because that's what people want to see. That's something special. Yeah. So once one person does it and it works and people go crazy over it, now it's like, okay, now that's the standard. And now it's like, how can I be as good as that? Or how can I top that? Yeah. How can I jump higher? How can I run faster? How can I shoot from further away? Mm-hmm. So the game gets more and more entertaining. So more and more people want to watch. So the more eyes you have on it, the more advertisement money that's going to be involved. So he's kind of like what skyrocketed into that.
Speaking of Nike, the founder's book, Shoe Dog, that's a good
Yeah,
one.
really good one.
So people should check that one out.
Definitely.
But yeah, I mean, so what I was thinking was after Michael Jordan retired, he continued to be successful. So that showed that he had the foundational skills no matter what. Whereas some people, I guess, what was it like Iverson or something?
Yeah,
just went
lost all his money.
and some other people.
Yeah.
So it really comes down to where your core skills are and whether you can bring those out again, no matter what the situation.
Yeah, and it all comes down to education.
Yeah.
You know, it's either your family taught you or you learned on your own. And if you didn't learn anything from your family, then you have to take it upon yourself to go do the research and study and don't just accept not knowing. Don't just be okay with like being unaware. And I feel like so many people are just like, oh, I don't know anything about that. And they just stop there and they don't ever search. Yeah. And that makes no sense, especially in this day and age where the information is ready and available to you. Not even just going to the bookstore. There's audiobooks, there's podcasts, you could go on YouTube and type in anything. How do I make $1 million? And you're going to find thousands of videos, if not millions of videos on what you need to do. You know, okay, all of those are not going to be valuable and actually help you, but there is information out there that is very valuable. And people who have done it are putting out courses in books and content that teaches you the mindset you need to have, the skill set you need to have, or where you can find more information of how to be successful in any area. So it's not okay to just be like, I don't understand finances. I don't understand investing. I don't understand marketing. I don't understand. That's not good enough. That's not okay.
There are even Harvard classes, MIT classes online that you can take, like Coursera or something for free, or something that you can definitely afford on whatever budget.
Or Udemy. There's this thing called Udemy,
right?
Which is an app, and you can take. I'm literally taking a marketing course on there right now.
Yeah, I saw you were taking a course while you were shooting your commercial on set.
Yeah, a digital marketing course.
Hey, no time wasted.
Absolutely not. Yeah, I had a lot of time to wait because it was a Kit Kat commercial, and it was both acting and dancing. So while the acting was happening, I had nothing to do. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not just going to sit here and twiddle my thumbs. So I whipped out my laptop and connected to the terrible Wi-Fi that I had, and started taking the course and going through the lectures.
So were you always like this as a kid? Were you always curious about finding out answers for yourself?
Yes.
It's kind of like trying to figure out where this came from.
But it wasn't business. It wasn't business and entrepreneurship at first. It was people. It was figuring out how people worked and wanting to understand why people made the choices that they did. I'm a Virgo, and apparently Virgos are very analytical or very I can't think of the word, but observant, very observant and analytical. And also I was really shy. So I wasn't doing much talking. So I was doing a whole lot of listening when I was younger, and just observing people and trying to empathize and put myself in their shoes and try to figure out why did they make that choice? Like, what was their life experience? What were their parents like to make them do that? Or how do they feel about themselves to make them want to make that decision? Because I was also constantly analyzing myself. Yeah. And I've always kind of been distant from my emotions to where I would kind of observe them from afar and kind of pick them apart and kind of figure out, okay, why do I feel like this? Why am I thinking this right now? Yeah. Why am I feeling, And so first it started with me analyzing myself, and then it turned into me kind of trying to figure other people out.
Well, that's a great way to improve. Analyzing yourself, you have to reflect. Otherwise, if you always feel like you're putting yourself down, you get depressed, or feel like you're not living up to other people's standards, then you're never going to improve. Yeah, absolutely.
And I feel like I've been very self-aware for a very long time. And even though I did, when I was younger, I did go through a lot of depression and stuff because of things I was going through at home with family. there's a lot of different things going on with both my stepdad and my mom, and also I don't know my biological father, and I didn't even find that out until I was like 16. So for most of my life, I thought some other guy was my dad, and yeah, my stepdad was abusive, and then also just didn't like myself. I didn't like my appearance. I didn't. So there was all that kind of stuff going on, and
Yeah, so for you to feel depression, that's not a bad thing. So
Yeah.
and I know depression's been in the news a lot, and people feel like it's a condition. But if you're going through what you're talking about that you've been through, that's just life, man.
yeah, exactly. So, and I didn't really know how to deal with it when I was younger, and when you're young, you don't realize how big of a world it is out there. You don't realize that so many people are going through the same thing you're going through and feel exactly how you feel. And it's not to say that everything that that was happening in my life is normal or okay, but it isn't the first time, and people have been through worse. So
I kind of feel like there is no normal.
Right. I think I can definitely agree with that.
If you're trying to compare to some idea of normal, that's just a piece of somebody here, a piece of somebody there showing their best selves, and it's not real.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I totally agree with that statement.
That's funny. You're shy, huh?
I was super shy.
Because you don't seem shy now. You're running around the world doing all these things.
Not at all. Not at all. Yeah. I mean, some of these countries I go to, I'm like in front of like 1,000 dancers, teaching a class on stage, and having to communicate and educate, and I can't be shy. And I think that's what helped me push past being shy. And I'm still pretty introvert. I still like to be alone. But as far as being shy, like I realized I can't be for the sake of my career. And I was aware enough and wise enough to know it'd be worth sacrificing me being comfortable for the sake of me advancing in my career. Yeah. So I kind of had to push myself and learn people skills, learn how to hold a conversation, learn how to sit with somebody and not constantly feeling like I want to run away.
Well, like right now.
Yeah, like now I'm good. Yeah. I could do this all day. But yeah, definitely when I was younger, I couldn't hold conversations with people.
Just like anything else, you gotta learn it, and the more you do it, the better you get.
Yeah, so I would challenge myself. I would force myself to, like, first it started really small. And for anybody who is shy or dealing with just like being an introvert and all that kind of stuff, you got to really start small and start with, like, talk to somebody at Starbucks. Just say hi. Say hi, how are you doing? Say at least get like 3 things out, And
they will be very happy.
Exactly. Yeah. Some people need that, just smile and say hi. And it starts with that, having like little conversations at the grocery store, on the bus. Do people take bus? I don't know. Everybody takes Uber now. But having little conversations here and there, and then it leads to bigger conversations. And then you challenge yourself I started to challenge myself to go up and talk to a girl that I thought was attractive. And then that started small. First it was like, I would just tell her that she was pretty. And then it's like, tell her she's pretty. And then, where are you from? Yeah. And then it expanded to like trying to get girls' numbers and stuff like that. And then honestly, if you can do that, you can do anything. If you can learn to talk to someone you're attracted to and not run away in fear, or just not ever even approach them, everything else kind of gets a lot easier. Yeah.
I don't know if you listen to a psychologist named Dr. Jordan Peterson on YouTube. But,
no.
He talks about everything, but one of the things he is like, women are kind of like the gatekeepers, and they inspire men to
do everything.
And if you can make the little steps to talk to a girl or something like that, then you can just, like you said, just do about anything. And
absolutely.
Women don't know that. They don't know how big of a
Yeah, we can't let them know.
Yeah.
We cannot let
Well,
them know. No,
too
just
late
kidding.
too late
Right,
now.
they found out.
Yeah.
Nah,
I think they intuitively know. They
Right,
intuitively
yeah, absolutely.
More
absolutely.
than we do.
They know they have the control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you shared that because I think a lot of people, at least even when I was a kid, I kind of felt like how I was is how I'm going to be. Or if I'm one way, I
Yeah.
can be another way for part of the time.
Yeah.
And or I have to always be or I have to have some initial talent like speaking, public speaking or something, be able to do it well. Whereas just people seeing you and hearing like where you came from and like the little blunders, it's okay to make little mistakes and just as long as you get started. That's kind of what you're saying.
Yes. Yo, and I feel like that's been my key to success is like I learned how to get over being embarrassed, you know, and I feel like that used to hold me back a lot when I was younger. I was so afraid of being embarrassed. And I think that was what caused me to be shy is like I didn't want to say the wrong thing. I didn't want to sound stupid. You know, I didn't want to be made fun of or anything like that. I didn't want people to judge me. So I was so afraid of that it kept me in this like bubble, just kept me so to myself. And once I learned how to get past that, and I'm trying to think of like what helped me get over that. I really don't know, but
is it just incremental little things?
I think incremental. I think it's like the things I said, starting small, doing little things here and there, facing small fears. I think once I realized like, yo, everybody makes mistakes. We're all human. Nobody's better than anybody else.
Yeah.
And also like big deal. So what if I embarrass myself? I'm not going to die from being embarrassed. I don't think anyone's ever died from embarrassment, you know? And once I started thinking about it like that, things changed for me. Things definitely changed for me. So I allowed myself to take risks. I allowed myself to put myself out there. And yeah, maybe it'll look like a failure at first. Maybe I'll look stupid at first, but I'm so committed to the vision I have that it doesn't matter what happens at first. All that matters is how I finish. All that matters is where I'm going to be in the future. So that gives me space. It makes me so much more free because now it's like I can do anything because I'm aware that I'm gonna suck at first.
Yeah.
Whenever it's something new, I'm aware that it's not gonna be great in the beginning, and I'm okay with that. Yeah, and I'm committed to growing and making sure I get better and better and better every single time.
Yeah.
So I'm so focused, and it's so clear to me what the future looks like that whatever is happening in the present doesn't really bother me.
Was it Gary Vee or somebody else that said, like, think long term, you want to have the vision and you want to have high goals, but in the short term, just allow yourself to make mistakes, baby steps.
I think, he talks about like macro and micro.
Right.
You know, he's like macro focused. He said he's like very patient. I forget how he said it, but basically he's patient for the macro,
the long term,
for the long term, but not patient with the micro.
Yeah,
like he
hustles a lot daily.
Yeah. And I think that's really how you have to be. And that's how I am. Like, I'm very patient. Like, I know where I'm going to be. And I want to get there as soon as possible. But at the same time, I'm not in a rush. It doesn't have to happen tomorrow. But as far as like this studio being the best it could be, that like little developments, I have to see growth every single day. That kind of stuff, I'm impatient with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So sometimes I go a little bit crazy with like purchases, like the projector and like the gobo thing and like all these little like added upgrades. I want it to be the best, and I know what I want it to be in my head, and I'm trying to get there as fast as possible. As far as like everything I can do on my part, everything else, there's some things that you can't defeat time. Time is undefeated. In the history of time always wins. So there's some things it's just all about timing. But everything else, whatever I have the power to do now, I'm gonna do it.
I think a lot of people don't realize how little time or how much time. I mean, both.
Yes.
So, I mean, I know a lot of young kids are eager to, get a lot of followers or something like that. So they don't realize how much time it took for other people
Yes.
to get to where they are.
Absolutely.
But then you also don't have a lot of time, so you have to not waste your time checking everybody else's Instagram or YouTube and actually get to work.
Absolutely. That's why, again, we're going back to Gary Vee, but that's why sometimes in Gary Vee's videos, he's like, yo, turn this video off right now and go hustle.
Well, the guy
go make it
puts
happen.
out way too many videos. So,
Right, I know. I had to take a break. I had to take a break from his content for a minute. But honestly, I had to take a break from all content for a minute.
Yeah.
Because I started realizing like I was taking in so much information and I was creating so many different ideas and making so many plans and not actually doing it. I was just doing a lot of planning and thinking and coming up with ideas and not taking a whole lot of action on those things. You know?
What you were saying before about trying things and having mistakes and just being okay with it, like that used to be how I thought about it. And the more later I started thinking it's more like an experiment.
Yes.
So it doesn't even have to be a failure. It's just, let's put this out there. You have a great idea.
Yes.
Like with the lights and in the studio, and you put it out there, but you don't know for sure what's going to happen.
Exactly.
There's like a minimum, like you want to achieve something, but a lot of times, like really cool, unexpected things happen. Maybe somebody comes to your class, or they share something. You can predict everything, but you have to put something out there. You have to try.
Yes.
You have to experiment to be able to move beyond this step. Otherwise, you're just standing there. You're not getting anywhere.
And you just make adjustments along the way. It's okay to, and that's kind of my process for choreographing. Initially, when I first make up something, it's kind of raw, and it's just all just how I felt. And the structure may not be amazing. How it's the composition of it may not be perfect. It may not be as clean as I want it to be, but I feel it, and that's the most important part for me, is making sure I feel it and it feels good to me. And then from there, I go back in and I make my edits, and I figure out, okay, this part needs to change. It needs to be simpler, or it needs to be more complex, or this part needs to be slower. This part needs to be faster. This part needs to be nothing, So I allow myself to experiment, put something together. That's my first draft. Then I go back, boom, I'm gonna try second draft. Then I'm gonna step back, look at it, see how I feel about it. Okay, let's do a third draft, and then that should be the final. And that's the one I'll go teach, or that's the one I'll put on stage, or that's the one I'll put in the music video, or whatever. So
how fast can you put one of these together? Like how fast does this process take?
Oh, I can choreograph like really, really, really fast. Yeah. And honestly, nowadays I can get to that third draft very, very fast. And now it's almost like instant, because it depends on what I'm doing, because my process for what I'm going to teach is going to be different from my process for what I'm actually going to do on a job.
Yeah.
Or do at a performance, or like a show or something. Yeah. But it's like, as far as like teaching, a lot of times I'll make it up on the spot. Like I'll literally, when I'm working with our students here, I can create a piece like in the moment, like a full set, full piece. So,
well, that's why you do what you do.
Yeah. But it took a long time. It took a long time to get there. It took you got to go through that rough phase of I would go to choreograph and couldn't think of anything.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how do you stay inspired?
Yeah.
Do you ever hit what's comparable to writer's block?
I can
feeling it, or
definitely. Now it's a lot more rare. And the last time I felt like that, it wasn't because I didn't have any ideas. It was because, or it wasn't because nothing was coming out as far as like movement. It was more so because everything that I was doing, I felt like I kind of done something like it already. It was similar to what I've already done. So
because you're putting out so much content.
yes, and it's hard to like come up with like it's hard to not be me, basically.
Yeah.
And with what I've been choreographing recently, it's like, how can I not do what I usually do? How can I not do what feels good? Because remember, I said I want it to feel good. Like that's the most important part to me. But sometimes if I'm so focused on it feeling good, what feels good is what's comfortable to me, and I want to expand beyond what's comfortable at this point, you know. Because I've been choreographing for a long time, so now it's like, okay, now I want to expand. Let me see what I can do that maybe is not what I would naturally initially do, but will look good and could feel good, and I could get used to it, you know? Yeah. So yeah, I think maybe a month ago I was going through kind of like, I want to reinvent myself. So what is that process going to be like? And it was rough and it was weird, but now I feel like I'm in my like flow now. So it feels good.
Yeah. You don't want to get in a routine and just completely lose that side of the creativity, because the creativity is exploring things that you're not good at, or
and you got to keep exploring. That's what artistry is all about. Keep exploring.
I want to ask you more about your lifestyle, about working with these companies, because I'm sure this is what a lot of these artists are aspiring to do. As we said before, well, they kind of have to stay doing what they love.
Yes.
What is it like to be working like with a Kit Kat or other name brands? And
it's all about collaboration and knowing how to collaborate and work well with other people with different visions, different ideas.
Because corporate is often much different from purely what you do in dance class.
Yes. But at the same time, they trust me to know, they trust me to be the tastemaker is really what it is. They trust me to know what's in, what's relevant, what's current, what people will connect to that are in my generation or the next generation, which is the generation I'm close to and work with a lot. So because they're usually like much older, you know, people that are running these companies. So that's where I come in, because they want to tap into that market. They want the younger market and whatnot. So I have to kind of like translate that through story and through movement, through with what I do. So I think if you're an artist, you really have to know how to like step away from yourself and your ego and your own vision, and realize that it's a team effort, and collectively, if you're with the right people, like it's about the bigger picture. It's about more than just you. It's about more than just your ideas. There's a lot of things that need to get accomplished when it comes to working with a brand, working with a major artist, because everybody's trying to sell something.
Right.
You get what I mean? So you may have the most creative, cool looking idea, movement, choreography, but if it doesn't sell the product, then it's worthless. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not worthless. It's just not going to, it's not achieving the goal, and everything's about intention, right? So if you're starting with the intention of, okay, we're putting an ad together, this ad needs to do this, right? That needs to be the goal. And whenever people are creating ads, the goal is never, let's make the most creative thing possible, or let's put out a commercial with the coolest choreography that you've ever seen. It's never about that. It's about, we want people, like I said earlier, we want people to feel like this when they see it. We want these kinds of people to watch this and connect with it
Yeah.
and understand it, you know? So, or we want, I mean, I think what I just said is perfect. It goes back to, just connecting with people. So sometimes I have to know how to do like simple choreography that still is visually appealing and still is impressive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it can't be so hard that you know, the average general public won't understand and wouldn't be able to do it. It always has to almost feel like anybody could do it, you know?
Sort of like a catchy pop song.
Exactly. Especially when it comes to ads, when it comes to music videos. With music videos, a lot of times it will be, you know, huge chunks of choreography that are complex and are just for like the dancers and the choreographers and the dancer and the artist and supposed to look complex. But in general, usually, especially when it comes to like a chorus or something, they want it to just be catchy. They want it to be a vibe. They want it to be easy on the eyes, easily watchable and translatable, so that people will connect with it and can try it themselves. They want to get up and they want to do it, or if they're at the concert, they feel like they can catch on to whatever the move is and do the choreography with the artist. Because if you can do that, then you're connecting with people in a different way. It's more engaging to do it that way.
Yeah, it's like singing along again to
exactly.
a song that you know, and
it's
that
like a
becomes
sing along,
part
it's
of
like
you.
a dance along.
Yeah, dance along. There you go.
Yeah. So again, it's all about being memorable. It's all about storytelling. It's all about being able to create something that people can easily follow along with.
Do you feel like your interest in psychology has helped
Yes.
communicate with brands? Because that's like the biggest thing I learned about, or that I realized when I started doing my own businesses, was how big of a piece marketing was. It's like the whole thing. If you don't get that right, nothing else really matters.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, psychology is something I'm kind of like obsessed with, and I think I actually didn't even graduate high school, and I definitely didn't go to college, but yeah, there was like, I went to a continuation school, so I didn't get enough credits when I was in high school, so I had to go to a continuation school to make up the credits. And that's where, for whatever reason, they had a psychology class at this continuation school. There wasn't psychology at my high school or in any other class I've ever taken in my life before, you know, when I was younger, which is weird. I feel like everybody should learn psychology.
Me too. Yeah,
like,
totally agree.
Like, how can you understand everything about the world except yourself and other people, which is the most important thing. You know, so there was a psychology class, and I just fell in love with it because, like I told you before, I've always been very observant and analytical of people, so I already was like a mini psychologist.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah, so I already feel like I kind of had people figured out to a certain degree. So taking that psychology class, I was able to put terms to like what I had already kind of figured out about people. You know, I was like, oh wow, there's like terminology for these things. This is actually like, I'm on to something, you know? So I kind of became obsessed with it. And yeah, I feel like everything I do now, psychology is involved with it. Again, like, so when it goes back to the marketing and the branding and leadership, it's all kind of like psychology and understanding human behavior and things like that. And the more you understand that, it alters how you talk to people. It alters just all the decisions you make and how you word things and the content I put out. I'm always aware of what are people going to think about this, how are they going to feel about it, and
right, feeling about it seems like it's more important than what they actually see.
Oh yeah. I was just I was watching some video, a marketing video, and they're talking about people don't buy logically.
Right.
They buy from emotionally.
Yeah.
You know, emotion gears people's purchases.
Yeah.
And again, it's storytelling. Do people connect with the story? Because the story is gonna be what makes people buy. The lights just went out. Let me fix that.
Right.
There we go. Just had to move.
All right. Well, I think
We touched on a lot of good things.
yeah, kind of running low on batteries here.
Okay,
so
no
I want
worries.
to wrap it up pretty soon. But
Yes.
Kind of what you just said with that you've learned all these things on your own, and you listed a lot of books, and you're constantly learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's such an important part.
Yes.
A lot of people who have gone to college, for those people who feel, I guess, on both sides, feel like they don't have a degree or it's not enough. I feel like it's if you can learn on your own, then you can always improve. And if you rely on school or a teacher, then you're always going to be limited by, I mean, like finding classes or not having enough confidence in yourself that you can learn anything.
Yes.
I was watching like a Navy SEAL documentary, and the guy was just super confident. He's like, I don't know how to sew, or I don't know how to, skydive or something. But if you give me a handbook in 24 hours, tell me I have a mission in 24 hours that I got to do these things, or, then I will do it. And it's just that confidence, kind of what you're saying here. It's like you have to keep learning, and there are all these pieces out there that if you don't pick it up for yourself, then even like the best teachers can't help you forever. They can't be there for you all the time.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got to constantly grow, constantly educate and expand. And it's forever. If you want to really be great, if you want to really be successful, like you're going to be constantly learning and self-educating for pretty much the rest of your career, and hopefully the rest of your life. I mean, I love learning new things. I love developing myself and developing my business and learning how people work and being able to be, like making my relationships stronger and things like that. So anybody, whether you're out of college, in college, whatever, I would also be doing some like self-educating. Find some books that are based on subjects that you really, really want to know about, and just start diving into fun stuff or just creative stuff as well. It doesn't always have to be about personal development or business development. I read some fictional books as well.
Yeah, kind of wherever life takes you.
Yeah.
Never stop learning though.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I think that's a good point to
keep exploring, people. Never stop exploring.
Yeah. That's a good note to end on. So where can we check out your website and your social media? Well, I'm really glad people got to meet you, and if they don't know you already, and I'm sure your fans would be happy of learning some things about you.
Absolutely. I think this is really great. I'm glad we did this. I want to do a lot of these kinds of things. Yeah. So my Instagram is at Antoine Troupe, AntoineTroupe, and the studio's Instagram is at KreativMndz Academy. Yeah, and that's usually where I'm spending the most time. It's like on Instagram, just like the rest of the world.
And if you guys are in the LA area, come to Burbank, the KreativMndz Academy. Right here. Check out the
KreativMndz
studio.
Dance Academy in 3917 West Burbank Boulevard, Burbank, California. We're here.
Sounds like a great radio commercial. Thanks.
Thank you.